Channel Sports Central will be going over a college football game preview and prediction on the 2020 Cotton Bowl between the Florida Gators and the Oklahoma Sooners, two teams of which who have had very good seasons. Both teams were college football playoff contenders, and this should make for quite a matchup here between both of these teams. I definitely think this could easily be the best bowl game that we do see this season, as you got Florida on one side, who nearly beat Alabama in the SEC championship game. It was a 6-point loss, and a bad final drive kind of spoiled the chances of that. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma, they beat Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game by a score of 27-21, and Oklahoma has won 7 straight as they come into this matchup, so it should make for a great one here. We're going to be going over a full game preview and prediction on this game here today, starting out with your team trends. Last game for Florida, they lost to Alabama, 46-52 was the final score there. And I mean, once again, Florida kept right up with Alabama that entire game. I mean, in several occasions, it looked like Alabama was just going to take off and blow Florida out, but Florida kept up, and Kyle Trask had quite a game there against Alabama. Even though it was a loss, I still consider it to be a good loss because no team has been able to even keep up with Alabama this season. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma, they beat Iowa State, which Iowa State was a team that Oklahoma lost to earlier on in the season, but they got the win this time around. 27-21 was the final score there. Winning streaks for both these teams. Florida's currently ranked 7th in the nation. They're 8-3 with a 2-game losing streak. Of course, they lost to LSU in the last game of the regular season. That was by a field goal, but still, I mean, that was a pretty terrible loss there for Florida. But as for Oklahoma, they're 8-2 right now, 7-game winning streak. They have not lost since September, so this Oklahoma team is looking really good coming into this matchup. They've got a ton of momentum. I'd probably say Oklahoma is one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the nation, as they come into this matchup. This game on Wednesday, December 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time in Arlington. Spread currently says Oklahoma by 2.5. ESPN FPI is also going with the Sooners here, 57%. Biggest prediction also going with Oklahoma here, 34-30 being the current projected final scores. So the Sooners are favored here in all 3 areas. Not much of a surprise there, considering Florida is on a 2-game losing streak. But I mean, then again, Florida is in, I would say, a better conference than Oklahoma is, so you could consider that as well. But I'd say both teams are balanced when you look at all the factors here. Here's just tech comparison for this game. Florida's got 41 points per game, 28 points allowed. They got 388 pass yards a game. That's definitely courtesy of Kyle Trask there. He's had quite a season for Florida. I mean, he's put up over 4,000 yards on the season. That's only through 11 games with 43 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's had an insane season. And I mean, honestly, you could argue that he's the best quarterback in the nation right now. I mean, you could argue that he's the top 3 for sure because of, I mean, how good of stats he's put up. And he's also a very accurate quarterback, and that's something that you'll also notice out of Spencer Rattler on the Oklahoma side, but we'll get to that in a second. As for Florida, they got 120 rush yards per game, 258 pass yards allowed, and then 146 rush yards allowed. As for Oklahoma, they got 41 points per game, 21 points allowed. They got 321 pass yards a game, 154 rush yards. Then for yards allowed, they got 243 passing and then 90 rushing. So really for both sides here, I mean, both teams, they got great offenses. That is definitely something that you will notice in this game, and that's a big reason why I think this game is going to be a higher scoring one, is you got 2 really high-powered offenses. You got Kyle Trask and Spencer Rattler, who continues to improve as the season's gone on. Both teams have great receivers. I mean, Florida's got Tony. He's put up nearly 1,000 yards of receiving up on the season with 10 touchdowns. And you also got Mims on the Oklahoma side, who's had a great season, around 600 yards. But really for both sides here, both teams have got great offenses, great quarterbacks. And that's why this matchup is going to be so good here, is because you got such great quarterbacks going head-to-head here. I mean, Spencer Rattler, considering how young he is, he's put up some insane stats, considering this is only his first full year of starting. He's put up nearly 2,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions as well. And he's also a very accurate quarterback, as his completion rate is also really good. So Spencer Rattler has had quite a season. I mean, he started off the season as he was not a very good quarterback at the beginning of the season. I'll just be honest with you guys. But as the season's gone on, like if you compare Spencer Rattler from the beginning of the season to now for Oklahoma, there is a lot that has changed in him. He's gotten a ton better as the season's gone on. And honestly, as Spencer Rattler's improved, this Oklahoma team has improved. I mean, the beginning of the season was just a mess for this team. They were 1-2 at the start of the year, and once again, they have won 7 straight. So Oklahoma is definitely doing something right now. As for the rush defense here, Oklahoma's got a great rush defense, only allowing 90 rush yards per game so far this season. But really, problem is for Oklahoma is they're going to need a good passing defense for this game. The rushing defense really won't be as much of a concern because Florida's not even that much of a rushing team. They've got a great passing game. That's what you're going to really have to worry about in this game, is the passing game out of Florida. I mean, this team's got Kyle Trask, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and he is definitely one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the nation. your pass defense is going to have to do very well in this game if you're going to want to get the win. As for Florida here, I mean, you got a great pass defense as well. I mean, that's going to be a big factor in this game as well, so you got to consider that. But the rush defense isn't as good for Florida, and so that could be a bit of a weak spot that Oklahoma might try to aim at. But we'll have to see. It should make for a good matchup either way. Some key points for this one: Florida nearly beat Alabama. That's definitely a thing you got to mention here. I mean, Alabama this season has been easily the most dominant team in the nation. I mean, they've blown out every single team that they've played except for Florida. Like, Florida kept that game close. And that was quite a game there. I'd probably say that's the college football game of the year outside of Clemson and Notre Dame the first time. I mean, that was quite a matchup, and Florida kept up. Honestly, I would not say that was a bad loss at all. As for Oklahoma, they're on a 7-game winning streak, and they've not lost since September. And this is a team that has gotten better and better as the season's gone on. So I certainly think Oklahoma is going to be looking very good in this matchup. They should put up quite a fight against a Florida team that's been really good this season. Which team would win in this situation? I think if Florida, if they can dominate Oklahoma's secondary, that's going to be a huge part of it. I mean, Kyle Trask has had no problem with that in the past few games, especially considering he's put up over 4,000 yards on the season through 11 games. And I mean, for Florida here, like, this is a team that has been extremely efficient. Once again, this entire offense has done very well this season. So for Oklahoma, I mean, if Oklahoma can hold Florida under 25 points, maybe even 20 points, that would set them up possibly to get a win here, because Florida's going to at least score, I think, 30 in this game, really with no problem. This should be a high-scoring game. Oklahoma's defense is good, but I mean, we all know how good the Big 12 defenses are, so who knows what could happen here, but I'm expecting high scoring. I think both offenses being as high-powered as they are, we should see a lot of points scored in this game. So that's also why, this matchup is going to make for such a good one, is we're going to see a lot of scoring between both of these teams. And that's what I'm going with. I'm going to go with Florida in the end here. And the main reason why I'm going with Florida is because, I understand Oklahoma's got all the momentum in the world right now. They've won 7 straight games, but Florida's got Kyle Trask. You've got Kyle Trask, who's a veteran quarterback. He's played for a couple years for Florida. He knows the ways of this Gator team, and this is a player as well that's going to be likely moving on to the NFL. So if you consider that as well, that's going to be a big factor for Florida here, as he's going to be very motivated in this game, and I don't think he's going to let a young quarterback like Spencer Rattler beat him in his last game as a Florida Gator. So I think Florida is going to get the win here. 45-35 is my final score, so I am going with the over here in case if you're into betting, but halftime score is going to be 24-21. We're going to see a very high-scoring first quarter, I think. I think we're going to see both teams score quite a few points in the first quarter. But in the final, 45-35, I'm going to go with Florida here in the end, 65% chance. I think Spencer Rattler is a great quarterback. He's improved a ton over the season, but I just don't think he's ready quite yet to win a major bowl game like this one is. I definitely think he's capable of it, and I would not be surprised a single bit if Oklahoma won here. But I just think Florida's the more comfortable team to go with, because you got Kyle Trask, who's once again a veteran quarterback. He's played really well over the past couple of seasons, and this season in particular, he's played very well. And for Florida here, they've got a very high-powered offense. I think they're going to overpower Oklahoma in the end. Final score, once again, 45-35 is your score. Let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game, though. Let me know your score predictions, all that down below. I appreciate you guys all watching and sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it, subscribe as well, as it really helps the channel, and I really appreciate that. But once again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I will see you all later.